This conference will now be recorded.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Healthy Happens Here webinar series, a series of virtual webinars that cover a variety of health topics, including nutrition, mental health, tobacco cessation, and chronic disease self-management. My name is Robert Ward, and I'm a health educator with the Community Engagement Team with the Florida Department of Health in Miami-Dade County. My colleagues Brianna McDaniel and Candace Schottenlower are also joining me today to assist. Today's event is called New Year, New Habits. Today we'll have two presentations on how to improve healthy habits in 2021. Our first presentation is entitled Setting and Achieving Your Goals. Join us in learning about how to focus on defining goals and the importance of goal setting, understanding the different types of motivation, how to overcome barriers, and we'll teach you how to create smarter goals. Our second presentation is entitled Quit Season 2021, the benefits of quitting and tips to quit tobacco use. Begin the new year with Quit Season 2021. Learn about reasons to quit tobacco use and available tobacco cessation resources that can help you. The information provided in this presentation will help you learn more about the benefits of living a tobacco-free life, tips to quit, and the tools available to help tobacco users successfully quit. In addition, there will be a Q&A session with our presenters immediately following the presentations. Please feel free to enter any questions you may have in the chat box, and we will address as many as possible during the Q&A session. Just a few other reminders. Please know you have the capability to have your camera on and off and to mute and unmute your microphone. While you are not speaking, please remember to keep yourself muted. And again, if you have any questions throughout today's webinar, please feel free to add them to the chat box on the right side of your screen. Our first presenter today is Melissa Maidson. Melissa is a health educator with the Community Health Action Team of the Florida Department of Health in Miami-Dade County. The Community Health Action Team works to reduce the incidence and prevent chronic disease. The team focuses on bringing awareness to the community through education, screenings, and community health events. I will now turn it over to Melissa.
Thank you, Robert. Can everyone hear me? Can you hear me, Robert?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Thank you. Good morning, and thank you so much for that introduction, Robert. Like you said, my name is Melissa Maidson, and I work for the Florida Department of Health. I've been working for the Community Health Action Team for about 5 years now, and today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about goal setting and achieving your goals. But before we get started, I can see the chat box, by the way. I do have access to it, Candace. I wanted to ask some questions just to get us started. So my first question to you is, have you set any goals for this year or any resolutions this January or maybe at the end of December? And you can just write yes or no or whatever you want in the chat box for me. Okay, I see someone answered get more physical activity on a regular basis. So thank you for sharing that. And if you're comfortable sharing, you can share some of those goals. Cook more at home. Yes, to take more time for self-care, to eat more fruits and vegetables, pay off some debt, or 100%, yes. Okay, so yes, thank you so much for sharing. So the reason I asked that is because I think with the new year, a lot of us set these goals. Some of them are new, some of them are goals that we set every year, or want to try one more time around, or want to keep working on. Take better care of my mental health, increase prayer time. Those are wonderful. Yes, very good. So a lot of these goals do resonate with wellness, but of course, they could really be anything from getting a new job or maybe finishing your degree or going back to school. But today we'll focus a little bit about that wellness aspect. But of course, you can apply what we're going to talk about to any goals you have. So this presentation, we're going to define goals and the importance of goal setting. We're going to go through understanding the different types of motivation, how to overcome barriers, and finally, we're going to review how to create smarter goals. You may have heard of SMART goals, but we're actually going to focus on smarter goals. So what is a goal? There can be many definitions of a goal, but overall, it's the object of a person's ambition or effort, or an aim for a desired result. And we need these goals to help us use our time more efficiently. Goals are important for many reasons. First of all, goals give you focus. So if you don't mind, wherever you are, I want you to close your eyes, or you can leave them open, and I want you to imagine how you shoot an arrow. If I gave you an arrow and I didn't give you a target, and I said, okay, shoot this arrow, where would you aim? And say that you did aim at something random. Why would you aim there? And for what purpose? So basically, that's kind of the idea. Goals really give us focus. They give us a bullseye, like Myra just said, to point at, to really know what direction we want to take. Without focus, it really is almost pointless energy and effort. You can have all the abilities in the world, but without this focus, it will be difficult to use them. The next one is measuring progress. Goals allow you to measure progress. So by setting goals for yourself, you're able to measure your progress because you always have a fixed endpoint or a benchmark that you can compare it with. They also help you overcome procrastination. So when you set a goal for yourself, you make yourself more accountable to finish the task. Goals tend to stick in your mind. So that really resonates with setting these New Year resolutions. And finally, motivation. Goal setting provides you the foundation for your drive, making your goal more concrete, something to get excited for, really. It gives you something to focus on, and it really helps develop that motivation that you need. So what is keeping you from achieving your goals? Maybe this is a goal that you have set many times before, something that you may have given up on, or maybe you already know what isn't working. A lot of the times when we are setting goals, and like I mentioned, it's something we've worked on before, we already know what isn't working for us, things that we've tried before that we tend to give up. So sometimes we already know what we need to change for them to work. But let's go through some of the things that keep us from achieving your goals. And the first one is fear. And this could be fear of failure. Let's say you want to go back to school. You may have a fear of, am I able to do this? A fear of embarrassment. And in some cases, even a fear of success, right? Does anybody have any input as to why fear of success? Okay, well, fear of success can really mean fear of change, right? Let's say there's a new job opportunity that you would really want to go for, but you're hesitant because your fear of that. It would be a successful endeavor, but at the same time, that fear of change, of getting out of that comfort zone. Um, Next is taking on too much responsibility. That's another thing that can keep us from achieving our goals. So sometimes people try to spread themselves too thin. We can get frustrated if we don't excel. But ultimately, if we're trying to accomplish too many goals at the same time, we're kind of setting ourselves up for failure. Indecisiveness. The more time you spend trying to decide what to do, or when should I start, the more time you spend doing nothing. So make a choice, go with it, and don't look back. This really makes me think of when someone's trying to eat better or start a diet. They're like, well, I'll start on Monday. So that indecisiveness of not today, maybe Monday, instead of, if you're ready, then start today. So then there's setting unrealistic goals. And I think this happens very often. Sometimes we set goals that are so unreasonably high that we set ourselves up for frustration. And if that happens one too many times, we can give up altogether. Again, maybe you started strong in the new year with these really high goals. And come 3 weeks in January, you're like, okay, never mind, I give up. And maybe what you just needed was to set a little bit more of a realistic goal for yourself. Impatience. So we do live in an age of convenience. So it's easy to expect those like immediate results. We're used to all the, advertisements, lose 50 pounds in 3 weeks. And we're used to getting it right now. So really that impatience can also keep us from achieving our goals. Your core beliefs about yourself can hold you back as well. We all have a set of core beliefs that we base our lives around. And it's difficult to contradict our core beliefs, but we can change our core beliefs. And by having small wins each day, we can prove that what we believe about ourselves isn't necessarily true. And finally, you may want it for the wrong reasons. You should ask yourself, do you want to achieve this goal for yourself, or is it to prove something to somebody else? Are you working toward a goal because someone else decided you should? And you really want to find out what you really want. Don't be motivated by the opinions of others, and really aim for a goal because it's the right thing for you to do. No action plan. So you don't create an action plan to achieve your goals. So many of us focus on tactics and tips rather than creating a specific action plan. And those action plans are going to look different based on your individual lives. And the truth is that I can give you a list of tips and mistakes, but unless you create that action plan to get you where you want to be, you may find yourself in the same situation time and time again. So we're going to go a little bit deeper into this, but basically you want to break down each of your life goals into manageable milestones that you're likely to accomplish each year, each month, or each week. It does sound like a lot of work because sometimes it is. It does take time to step back and write these out and really think about them. But once they're done, you'll be glad you did that and you can revisit those. Finally, the dreamer. So you only dream about the outcome. If you only focus on what's at the end of the road, you're likely to miss all the amazing things that you learn on the way there. In other words, along the path towards achieving that goal is a magnificent journey. And it's often that journey that's the most fulfilling part. So understanding the motive behind setting a goal will help you set realistic goals that you are more likely to achieve. So you really want to ask yourself, why? Why do I want to achieve this goal? Does the reason connect with my lifetime goals? Who wants me to achieve this goal? Am I setting this goal to please others or myself? What is it specifically you want to do? What is it going to take? Is it attainable? Where? Where do I want to see myself when this goal is accomplished? After I meet this goal, what is my life going to look like? And when? How long will it take me to accomplish this goal? Is it practical? Is it realistic to my life? Motivation. So setting goals are very effective in increasing motivation. A lot of us see it again at the beginning of the year when we're really motivated to get started. Motivation provides a drive for people to accomplish their goals, to maintain their responsibilities or solve problems. It's generally what energizes, maintains, and controls behavior, and it can result in a high level of innovation while producing higher quality work at a higher level of efficiency. So motivation really is big. A lot of people do give up on their goals and they say, well, I have no motivation. We hear this a lot with working out, right? I have no motivation to go out and walk. So really it's trying to find that what's the right kind of motivation, first of all, and how to maintain that. So these are two types of motivation. It's not that one is better than the other. Sometimes they work together, but let's go a little bit into what they are. So intrinsic motivation is a drive within you to accomplish a goal or a task. And you choose to complete a task because it has personal meaning for you and it gives you pleasure or satisfaction. So, for example, participating in a committee because you find that activity enjoyable or you're passionate about that topic. Or, something more simple, solving a word puzzle because you find the challenge fun and exciting as opposed to someone telling you to do it. So extrinsic motivation is that drive that comes from someone else or an external stimulus. It involves engaging in a behavior in order to earn external rewards or avoid punishments. So for example, studying because you want to get a good grade. So that grade is an extrinsic motivation. Cleaning your room if you're a child to avoid being reprimanded by your parents. That's also extrinsic. And they do differ in their level of effectiveness. Extrinsic motivation is beneficial in some cases. For example, working towards getting a reward of some kind can be helpful when you need to complete a task that you might find unpleasant. Intrinsic motivation, however, is typically a more effective long-term method in completing tasks. So while extrinsic motivation is helpful in certain situations, it may eventually lead to burnout or lose effectiveness over time. Sometimes they do work together to help you complete a task. For example, if you have a job and you're working to complete a project, you might be extrinsically motivated to finish it, to earn a raise, for example, or a promotion. But intrinsically, you might be motivated to finish it because you actually enjoy the project and want to do a good job. So here's some quick tips on setting goals. You really want to set goals that are clear and concise to help you stay motivated when times are tough. Although you might think, yeah, I know what my goals are, they're in my head, you really want to spell them out so you know what you're working towards. It's helpful to write them down, both your long and short-term goals. You also want to post your goals where you can see them, again, to stay motivated and focused. So whether it's in your office, in your bedroom, in the bathroom, on the fridge, wherever you can see them. And finally, you want to reward yourself for accomplishing your goals, especially when you, want that motivation to keep going. I do want to make a note though, don't reward yourself with food. You don't have to earn your food. You need your food. Reward yourself with something else. If you meet your physical activity goals, maybe you want to buy a new workout outfit or some new sneakers, something that you're really looking forward to, a new book that you've been wanting. So rewarding yourself is very important. So long-term and short-term goals. So long-term goals provide the big picture. For example, I want to be more physically active. It's very big picture, and it's to be accomplished in a year or sometimes longer. Maybe it's a 5-year long-term goal. Short-term goals are the stepping stones that help you accomplish those long-term goals. So again, we want these to be very specific. Several short-term goals should be set for each long-term goal to help maintain motivation and stay on track. So again, several. So you may have 3 short-term goals that are going to help you achieve that one long-term goal. So smarter goals, again, we're going to go into these, but just to define it, so goals should be specific, they should be measurable, achievable, relevant, time-based. You should be able to evaluate your goals and revise them. So, specific. Goals should be clear and to the point. When setting a specific goal, you know exactly what you need to do to accomplish the goal and gain more satisfaction from doing so. When setting SMART goals, you want to avoid generalities and use action verbs as much as possible. And we're going to get into that a little bit more. Measurable. So if your goals are not measurable, how can you be sure that you're making progress towards them? A measurable goal will provide a time frame and a foreseeable outcome. So for example, 5 pounds, 30 minutes, 3 times a week, 1 time a day. You really want something you can measure so that when you can come back, you can say, okay, well, I didn't meet that. I didn't do 30 minutes, I did 10, and I did that 5 times a week. You really want to be specific with that. Achievable. So goals must be realistic for you to accomplish them. If your goals are too high, you're not going to be able to achieve them and your self-esteem is going to suffer. And your goals are too low, you might not gain the satisfaction from achieving them. So with your skills and resources and time, you want to ask yourself, can I successfully complete this goal? Are there factors beyond your control that need to be considered? So for example, let's say you don't have a set schedule at work. Then maybe saying that you're going to work out every day from 5 to 6 is not realistic because you don't have control over your schedule. So maybe you have to reword that. Maybe you no longer have a gym membership or you don't have access to the resources you need. So is it achievable? And also keeping in mind that sometimes we can do a little more than we can give credit to. So maybe walking 1 time a week is too low of a goal. And you can say, okay, I can't, 1 is super easy for me to do. Let's say 3, but 5 is too many times. So really finding that place where you're challenged, but at the same time, it's achievable. Relevant. Goals should be relevant and important to you. Effective goals are your own. They're not somebody else's. And what is the objective behind the goal? And how is this goal really going to achieve that? Time-based also goes along with measurable. They should include a specific deadline. So a short-term goal usually includes a deadline of a month or 2. A long-term goal has a deadline of 1 to 5 years. And we want to be able to come back and evaluate these goals constantly because your life is not static, right? Change is happening all the time around us. So it's essential for reaching our goals for us to come back and see what is working and what isn't working. Consider factors such as change in your mayor, maybe if you're in school, a change in job responsibilities, or a change in available resources that may affect your stated goals. And of course, you want to revise after evaluation. You should redo the goals that need changing and continue the smarter goal setting process. This does take time, just like writing them down the first time does, but it is investing in yourself. So, for example, let's say my goal is that I want to walk more. How can I make that a smarter goal? And you can just type it in the chat box if you'd like, if you have any idea. And there is no, this is very vague, so really anything that's more specific can help. Okay, I see. I will walk 15 minutes twice a day. That's really good. It's very specific. You're telling me what activity you're going to do. You're going to walk for how long? 15 minutes and twice a day. Okay. So another example would be I want to walk 1 mile 3 times a week, and that's getting very specific, right? Because I put the distance instead of time. But Myra, who had written in the chat box, I will walk for 15 minutes twice a day. It's the same thing, right? 1 mile or 15 minutes, you're giving me a time frame or a distance that I can measure and see, did I reach that or not? for 3 times a week for the next 6 weeks. And again, we're giving that deadline. So after 6 weeks, we could come back and see how we did. Was it too high of a goal? Do I need to change that? Or maybe I met that easily and I want to, move it up a bit. So that's an example right there. So now let's get into examples of long-term and short-term goals. And for this one, I chose wellness or weight management, since it's a lot of what people are interested in. So before I get into this, according to the CDC, even a modest weight loss of 5 to 10% of your total weight is likely to produce health benefits, such as improving blood pressure, blood cholesterol, or blood sugars, if you're overweight, of course, or obese. So for example, if you weigh 200 pounds, a 5% weight loss will be 10 pounds, which will bring your weight down to 190. And while this weight may still be in the overweight or obese range, this weight loss can still decrease your risk factors for chronic diseases related to obesity. So again, according to the CDC, people who lose weight gradually and steadily, so about 1 to 2 pounds per week, are more successful at keeping the weight off. So that's really what I outlined here as an example. So let's say for long-term goal, you say, okay, I currently weigh X amount of pounds. My long-term goal is to lose 10% of that, which is equal to 10 pounds, for example, and then losing 1 to 2 pounds per week. I want to reach my long-term goal by, and at this point, you want to pull up your calendar and see what a realistic date is. And you can see how specific this is, right? It's not, I want to lose weight in 2 years. It's really detailing what you want to do. So it's very important to choose a goal that you're confident you can reach. And you can always reset your goals again after you reach them. And now going on to the short-term goal. So we already set the long-term goal. So the short-term goal is, how am I going to achieve that? How am I going to lose those 10 pounds? Well, through nutrition and physical activity. Okay, so here's some examples. I will drink no more than 2 cans of soda per week. I will increase my vegetable intake by half a cup twice a week. So we can go back and check this and see how we're doing. Notice that it doesn't have a time frame, right? So we can always make them even more specific. I will drink no more than 2 cans of soda per week for 4 weeks. And we can come back and see how we did. Physical activity. Every day this week, I will walk briskly for 15 minutes. I will take the stairs at least once each day that I am at work. So every day this week, I'll walk briskly. Well, every day, is that realistic for you? Maybe, because it's only 15 minutes, maybe not. So really seeing what you're setting yourself up for. These are other examples of goals, not specifically related to wellness, but maybe you want to email your weekly status updates to your supervisor by 4 p.m. each Friday, achieve a 90% customer satisfaction rating, save $25 each month for 2 years for a washing machine costing $600 or less. So this one is very specific. Read 5 pages every night before going to sleep. Not very specific, but maybe more specific than I want to read more. So in summary, understanding the real motive in setting your goal will help you best achieve that goal. You want to break down each of your life goals into manageable milestones that you'd like to accomplish each year, each month, or each week. And you want to remember that failures can be a valuable learning experience. Try viewing them as a detour or fork in the road rather than a dead end. And finally, reward yourself for accomplishing your goals. These are some quotes. A goal without a plan is just a wish. And it always seems impossible until it's done. That was Nelson Mandela. And some quotes on kindness. Please remember to be kind to yourself, especially when setting these goals and evaluating them and revising them, and knowing that so many things are out of our control as well. So this is an example. I really recommend you do write those goals down, that action plan. But if you want to liven it up a bit, you can also create a vision board. It's a tool used to clarify, concentrate, and maintain focus. I think the list is more specific and it's easier to evaluate, but this can also help motivate you. They work great because you can visually see them every day. A lot of us are very visual. It's one of the most popular and effective mind workouts that you can do. And here's some examples of them, and you can find many examples of them online. And these are easy to post, whether it's at home or in your office. Yeah. So does anyone, questions are at the end, I think. But thank you so much.
Thank you, Melissa. Our presentation was great. At this point, we're going to start on our second presentation. Our second presenter today is Nikki Chuck. Nikki is a senior health educator with the Florida Department of Health in Miami-Dade County, tobacco prevention. She has been with the program for almost 5 years and works closely with team members and partners to promote cessation resources and work towards tobacco-free policy change in the county. The program also focuses on raising awareness about the dangers of tobacco and nicotine use, celebrating tobacco control observances, and educating the community through presentations, meetings, and community health events. I will now turn it over to Nikki.
Thank you, Robert. Can you hear me loud and clear?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, great. Thank you for introducing me, and thank you, Melissa. That was a great presentation, and it flows directly into what I'll be speaking about today. So as Robert mentioned, my name is Nikki Chuck, and I am a senior health educator with the Tobacco Prevention and Control Program. And today's presentation will be about Quit Season 2021, the benefits of quitting, and then tips to help quit tobacco use. So before I share some interesting data to help frame today's presentation, I wanted to ask you all to provide your best guess as to how many lives are lost annually due to tobacco use worldwide. So please feel free to put your best guess in the chat. And again, the question is, how many people do you think lose their lives worldwide due to tobacco use? So I see 30,000, thank you, Myra. 1 million, thank you, Robert. 100,000. These are all great guesses. Oh, over 100,000, okay. So I think the number might shock you, but actually the number is 6 million. Ooh, wow, Maria, 50 million. Thankfully not 50 million, but good guess. So I hope that helps to frame today's presentation, because as you can tell, the title of my slide is Tobacco Use is Still the Leading Cause of Preventable Death in the World. So that number is pretty startling to frame today's presentation, because 6 million people lose their lives worldwide due to tobacco use. And that is a lot of people. And to give some more perspective, I put some national as well as local data. So every year, tobacco kills more than 480,000 Americans. And also in the state of Florida, 32,300 people are killed yearly. And that's adults from their own smoking. So that number, that local data, doesn't even include secondhand smoke deaths. So it's actually a little bit higher. And tobacco use has killed 100 million people worldwide in the 20th century. And if this current trend does continue, it can and will kill 1 billion people in the 21st century. So yes, the rate is extremely alarming, like Candace mentioned in the chat box. And I really hope that today's resources and the information that you learn will be able to help bring this number down. And then I do have another question. How many of you today on this webinar have heard of Quit Season before? It's a yes or no question. Yes, you've heard of it. No, you haven't. Okay. Thank you. So it's a little bit half and half. So half of you have kind of heard of Quit Season before and the other half not, but that's great. So I'm happy to have you today on this webinar. So Quit Season is a national, I'd say, awareness campaign. With the beginning of each year, it makes sense to kind of go hand in hand with New Year's resolutions. And one thing that our program tries to promote is just encouraging people that use tobacco and nicotine to make a plan and to attempt to try to quit in the new year. So as you can see in the slide, now is a great time to quit. A new year, a new you, and basically a new start. So one goal of our program is just to make sure that we get smokers to quit smoking on that list. And I think it's the perfect time because, as many of you know, in 2020, with the past year and the pandemic, now it's more important than ever to focus on our health and to make sure that we are healthy. And not smoking is something that I believe is really important, and everyone should also help to promote that message. So adding quitting smoking or quitting tobacco use and encouraging others to do so for their New Year's resolution is something that I hope you take away from this presentation. And there are many reasons to quit, or like Melissa mentioned, there are many different types of motivation, and I have included some on the slide. So many smokers might choose to quit because they want to improve their health. And if they do quit, it helps to lower their risk of lung cancer and other types of cancers in the future, such as oral, throat, or bladder cancer. And in some cases, colorectal, cervical, or liver cancer can also be prevented. Of course, heart disease, stroke, diabetes, all of these diseases can be decreased if they do quit tobacco use. In addition, not smoking will increase circulation and help to improve your immune system, and of course, live longer and add more years of life. Another reason could be your family and friends, because you want to make sure that they're not exposed to secondhand smoke. And I did add pets towards the bottom because pets are also exposed to secondhand smoke. And that would basically mean a better quality of life and better quality of air for yourself, your family, your friends, your pets, and the environment. Another reason, money, because smoking costs a lot. It is not cheap, and depending on how many packs a smoker might smoke a day, it will definitely impact their financials in the long run. And I do not have the data, the cost calculator, but we do share that a lot with our clients, and it just goes to show them that depending on how much they spend weekly, daily, or throughout the year for one pack of cigarettes, they could save themselves enough money to have a really nice family vacation, or they could buy something really nice for themselves, such as a new car. Another reason, your appearance, because smoking does age you more. It affects the growth of your hair and how your skin looks. It sometimes can increase the wrinkles on your face, so it may age you more than you want. And then lastly, the environment. If you really do want to go green and produce less carbon monoxide in the air, then it would definitely help if you don't smoke. And cigarettes are not biodegradable, and they are the #1 most littered item in the world. So by you not smoking, or by you encouraging someone else to quit smoking, it'll definitely have a positive impact on the environment. And that could be another reason to quit. And you just want to do it for yourself so that you feel better. So additional health benefits after quitting, and this data is from the Tobacco-Free Florida poster. So within 20 minutes of quitting, it decreases the heart rate and blood pressure in a smoker. Within 12 hours, carbon monoxide levels decrease back to normal. Within 9 months, cough and shortness of breath also decrease, and cilia regain normal function. So cilia, they line your nose, your nostrils, so that it helps to remove all the bad and dirty particles when you're inhaling. And then after 1 year, risk of cardiovascular disease is half that of a smoker. After 5 to 15 years, your risk of stroke is reduced to that of a non-smoker, which is very good. After 10 years, lung cancer is half that of a smoker, so your chances of getting that is half. And then after 15 years, your risk of cardiovascular disease is that of a non-smoker. So these are all really good health benefits after quitting. And then I did want to share some proven successful ways to quit. So as you can see on the screen, these are the 7 FDA-approved medications. And the first 5, they're nicotine replacement therapy. So that includes the patch, the gum, the lozenge, inhaler, and nasal spray. So whenever you hear someone refer to NRT, that's what they're talking about. And it's proven medications to help smokers quit. And because smoking is an addiction, it's something that shouldn't be quit cold turkey. You don't want to just do that and shock your system. You want to use evidence-based practices with successful tools. And then the other two, they are prescription medication, and it's Chantix or Zyban, you'll see in the chart. The one thing that I did want to stress is that you see on the chart that e-cigarettes are missing. So electronic cigarettes are not a proven quit tool, and they're not approved by the FDA for that purpose at all, which is why from this presentation, please remind people that do use nicotine and tobacco that e-cigarettes aren't a quit tool. These right here on the chart, they're the proven successful ways to quit, and these medications have a good success rate along with counseling. And some positive statistics, you can do it because 70% of tobacco users do actually want to quit. So we have some encouraging data, and half of them do make a serious attempt each year, and 80% see a healthcare provider. And then some interesting information is that you should not feel discouraged or in fear that you might not make it if you do quit and then you just fall off the bandwagon and then relapse and then do it again, because it takes about 7 to 9 attempts for a smoker to successfully quit. So it is very difficult, but the program is here for you. And I wanted to share some free cessation and quit resources that are offered. So we do have 2 local partners. The health department works closely with area health education centers, and you'll see that there is Miami-Dade AHEC as well as the University of Miami AHEC, and both of these programs do offer different sessions. Well, now it's virtual sessions, but before it was in-person sessions, and they are located throughout Miami-Dade County. They have virtual quit counseling sessions, and they're done virtually through Zoom. In addition, the Florida Department of Health, the Tobacco Prevention and Control Program, works closely with Tobacco Free Florida to offer the Quit Your Way program. And everything is free. So for AHEC, they do offer 2 curriculums. The Quit Smoking Now, which is a 4-week course, and each class lasts for 1 hour. And some of the topics they touch upon are stress management, relapse prevention, the benefits of quitting, and of course, it includes the free NRT distribution for up to 4 weeks. And the Tools to Quit curriculum is the other option, and it is a 2-week course for 1 hour each week, or they have the option of a one-time class between 1.5 to 2 hours. And it also has some interesting topics such as how to create a quit plan, the health effects of tobacco use, benefits of quitting, and it also includes the free NRT 2-week supply. The important thing I want to stress is that in addition to receiving free nicotine replacement therapy, the tobacco treatment specialists are well-versed in evidence-based practices and clinical best practices to help work with the tobacco user. So it's streamlined and they're very personable and they offer support with the other tobacco users that wish to quit. So it can be one-on-one or it can be a group class, whichever the client feels more comfortable with. And it's also available in English and in Spanish. If you do need more information, I can share some links at the end of the presentation because clients can sign up for these free services online. And then of course, Tobacco Free Florida's Quit Your Way services. In addition to being online, they also offer the phone quit and web quit options. And they also come with free nicotine replacement therapy. For the more quit tools, that includes text messages and emails as well. So the program really wants the tobacco user to quit their way. So they called the program Quit Your Way with a versatile number of options. And some tips to help you quit. So when you first try to quit, make sure to change your routine. So maybe having some change can help delay that need for that cigarette. And then getting rid of all cigarettes and ashtrays in your home, your car, or your workplace, kind of like out of sight, out of mind. If you don't see that temptation there, it'll just make you forget about it. And then definitely ask your family, friends, and coworkers for support. They can help to always encourage you and motivate you if you do have some type of urge. Make sure to talk to them. Stay in non-smoking areas. If you don't smell it, then you won't have that temptation, and you get to stay on track. Another tip is to breathe in deeply when you feel the urge to smoke. Just try to recenter yourself and refocus on something different. Again, keep yourself busy, reward yourself often, and try to reduce your stress, because I do hear that from a lot of smokers that they try to smoke because they're so stressed. If there's another method, maybe some type of mindfulness or a new activity, maybe trying walking, try to reduce that stress, and then you won't see that need for the cigarette, because a lot of smokers feel that they want the cigarette, but do they really need it? And then distract yourself from urges to smoke. Plan something enjoyable to do every day, besides smoking, of course. Maybe some type of exercise, watching a movie, and then drinking a lot of water and other fluids. That's another tip. Just to put something hand to mouth, not a cigarette. Some other helpful tips. The tobacco treatment specialists shared this with me. They always talk to their clients and they try to encourage the 4 Ds to manage cravings and triggers. So delay. The urge will pass whether you smoke or not. So wait out the craving. And most cravings do last about 3 to 5 minutes. So it's possible. Just try to delay it and think about something else. Deep breathing, of course. Try to focus on taking deep breaths, inhaling and exhaling during the craving, and just help to focus on something completely different. Drinking water. Drinking water throughout the day, it will help decrease the number of cravings that you have, and then distract or do something else. Just use distractions during the onset of the craving to keep your mind occupied, and then it'll pass. And then I did want to share some local resources from the Department of Health. We do offer smoking cessation information coverage that's free through Tobacco Free Florida. We also offer technical assistance with policy development, implementation, and then there's also some toolkits that we do have that show the best practices in case your worksite might want to try to implement or develop a tobacco-free policy. And then, of course, I do want to remind you that Tobacco Free Florida, in collaboration with the Department of Health and local AHECs, have free tools and services to help tobacco users quit and improve their health. So make sure you pass the message and materials along. And I wanted us to stay connected because the Healthy Happens Here webinar series is a product of the Consortium for a Healthier Miami-Dade and our Make Healthy Happen initiative. And if you want to learn more about the different committees, please feel free to visit the website. And here are the different handles for the social media pages that we have. And I just want to say I am thankful that the state of Florida has the Bureau of Tobacco Free Florida. And I love our program and what we do. So let's make sure that these resources are utilized and promoted, and they're for the community. So the program is there to help everybody in Miami-Dade County and in Florida. Here is additional information and some cessation resources that can better guide you. And then lastly, I wanted to say thank you. If you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat box.
Thank you, Nikki. I'm now going to turn it over to Candace for our Q&A session.
Thank you so much, Robert. Thank you, Nikki and Melissa, for your insightful presentations today. And so we did receive a few questions prior to the event. And so the first question I will share with everybody, this is directed towards Melissa. It's, may you please share some resources of support to help us lose weight and exercise? So I'm thinking that they're starting to think about how they can set up their SMART goals.
Sure. So the main resources we always recommend are choosemyplate.gov, which is very good. It also has information on physical activity, but choosemyplate.gov lets you create your own plan. So you can plug in your weight, your height, identify your BMI, and it'll give you even like a meal plan. It also has tips for eating healthy on a budget or just eating healthy in general. I mean, so many resources. You can also look up by audience. So if you're a professional, they have specific things for you, or if you're a community member, if you're an adult, or if you have children. So choosemyplate.gov is very good in terms of nutrition. The cdc.gov is also very good on physical activity, as well as the USDA. So those are two great resources if you're trying to set goals and just want to learn a little bit more about those topics.
Thank you so much. And also leading into this question, they're just asking, you know, how could they maybe improve some of these habits? And so I think you may have answered that. I'm not sure if you have any additional resources.
So like I said, there are a lot of sheet tips on myplate.gov that can help you break habits or how to form new habits in terms of nutrition and physical activity.
Okay, thank you so much. And for Nikki, we did receive a question prior, and they're asking, how do I convince a member of my family that they do not want to quit smoking? They've recently just switched from cigarettes to vaping. Do you have any recommendations and support for them?
Thank you, Candace, for the question. Like I did mention in the presentation, that person can definitely educate them that e-cigarettes are not a proven quit tool. So, I mean, it's great that they're not using tobacco right now, but they did switch to another product that has nicotine. So that might not be the best, but they are making a change. So I would ask them to encourage them to use Tobacco-Free Florida or local AHECs, or even just talk to the counselors to get a better understanding of why they felt the need to switch, and hopefully work on a quit plan if they're interested in quitting. And if not, just keep sharing resources and reminding them that there are many reasons to quit, either for their own health, to live longer, or just to help the environment. Like, there are so many reasons, but hopefully to find that key messaging, that one factor that'll encourage them and motivate them to make the first step.
Right. Thank you so much for that insight. And so at this time, I'm just taking a look at the chat box and receiving a lot of good feedback on your presentations. As a reminder, some of the links have also been shared for MyPlate and the CDC. And I do see another question directed to Melissa. How to keep the motivation to reaching a long-term goal? How can one reach their long-term goal that they set?
Sure. So I think we touched on this when we spoke about intrinsic versus extrinsic motivation, and really finding out why it is that you want to accomplish this and helping you achieve that goal. There are many resources that you can find online as well of ways to stay motivated. We did talk about rewarding yourself or creating a vision board, writing down those goals. I think really the secret is to setting realistic goals as well, to staying motivated. Most of the times people give up on their goals when they set these unrealistic goals. You know, I gave the example of I'm going to work out every single day of the week for an hour. Well, that might not be realistic. So how can you stay motivated when you set yourself up for, you know, almost failure? So really setting those realistic, smarter goals can really help with that motivation aspect.
Thank you for sharing that. So at this time, I do not see any other questions. We thank you both so much, and I will turn it back over to Robert.
Thank you, Candace. So today's event is part of the Florida Department of Health and Miami-Dade County Office of Community Health and Planning's new webinar series called Healthy Happens Here. 3 events will be held each month and will cover a variety of topics, including nutrition, mental health, tobacco cessation, and chronic disease self-management. Please stay tuned for future announcements on our February and March events, which will be sent out soon. Finally, please make sure to visit healthymiamidade.org to receive the latest updates from the Consortium for Healthy Miami-Dade, as well as other health educational information. Thank you again for joining us today, and have a great rest of your day.